July 24th, 1943. Midnight. The skies over Hamburg are deceptively calm. At RAF bases across England, engines roar to life. Bomber Command, under the leadership of Arthur Bomber Harris, prepares to unleash a new form of warfare. Over 700 aircraft are loaded with a deadly mix of high explosive and incendiary bombs. The target, Hamburg, Germany's second-largest city and a crucial industrial hub. The mission, codenamed Operation Gomorrah, aims to break the city's spirit and cripple its war production. As the aircraft take to the skies, a new tactic is employed: window. Strips of aluminum foil are dropped to confuse German radar. The Luftwaffe's night fighters are blinded, unable to locate the incoming threat. Meanwhile, below, the citizens of Hamburg remain unaware of the impending disaster. In the cool night air, a sense of normalcy lingers. But that is about to change. The prelude to one of World War II's deadliest firestorms has begun. July 25th, 1943. 1 a.m. The first wave of bombers reaches Hamburg. Below, the city sleeps under a clear summer sky. Suddenly, the calm is shattered. Explosions ripple through the night as incendiaries rain down, igniting fires that merge into a single raging inferno. Temperatures soar to over 1,000 degrees Celsius. The firestorm generates its own wind, a tornado of flame that engulfs entire neighborhoods. Panic spreads among the residents. Many flee to shelters, seeking safety underground. But the flames find them, consuming oxygen and suffocating those within. Above the chaos, bomber crews witness the terrifying spectacle. It was like looking into hell, one pilot recalls. The city's defenses are overwhelmed. Anti-aircraft guns fall silent, and the Luftwaffe is powerless to intervene. By dawn, vast areas of Hamburg lie in ruins. The death toll is staggering. Over 42,000 civilians lose their lives. The scale of destruction is unprecedented. Operation Gomorrah has succeeded beyond Bomber Command's expectations. Hours earlier, on July 24, 1943, at 10 p.m., the people of Hamburg had no inkling of the devastation about to descend upon them. Children were tucked into bed, and workers returned from long shifts at factories. The city's importance to the Nazi war effort made it a prime target. As an industrial hub, Hamburg housed shipyards, oil refineries, and munitions factories. It was a vital cog in Germany's military machine. But within the British War Cabinet, debates raged over the morality of area bombing. Critics argued it targeted civilians more than military infrastructure. Yet, Harris remained resolute. "They have sown the wind, and now they shall reap the whirlwind," he declared. With the memory of the Blitz still fresh, Britain sought retribution. In the skies over the North Sea, bomber crews steeled themselves for the task. July 26, 1943. The aftermath. As dawn breaks, the true extent of the destruction is revealed. Entire districts are reduced to ash and rubble. Survivors wander the streets, dazed and searching for loved ones. The city's infrastructure is decimated. Water mains are ruptured, power lines severed, and transportation networks crippled. Hospitals overflow with the injured, many suffering from burns and smoke inhalation. Relief efforts are hampered by the scale of the disaster. Reports suggest that over 900,000 people are left homeless. Yet, amidst the devastation, there is resilience. Citizens band together, forming makeshift shelters and soup kitchens. The Nazi regime, however, is quick to downplay the impact, censoring news and maintaining morale. For the RAF, Operation Gomorrah is hailed as a strategic victory. Churchill himself comments on the effectiveness of the raids. But questions linger. Was the cost too high? The debate over the ethics of strategic bombing will continue to divide opinion long after the war. As the fires of Hamburg smolder, the strategic implications ripple across Europe. For Nazi Germany, the raids are a stark reminder of their vulnerability. The Luftwaffe, once dominant, now struggles to defend the Reich's heartland. Resources are diverted to bolster air defenses, straining an already overextended military. Meanwhile, the RAF refines its tactics. The success of Window paves the way for future operations, further complicating German radar capabilities. Within Bomber Command, morale is high. Crews return to bases as heroes, their efforts praised by superiors, but the human cost weighs heavily. For every successful mission, there are losses. Aircraft fail to return, and families receive dreaded telegrams. One pilot reflects, "We were part of something bigger, but it came at a price." The raids on Hamburg mark a turning point in the air war. The Allies now possess a weapon of unparalleled destructive power. Yet, as the war drags on, the question remains, how far will they go to achieve victory? Within the corridors of power, Operation Gomorrah ignites fierce debates. In London, the War Cabinet grapples with the moral implications of area bombing. Some members argue that the destruction of civilian centers undermines the very values for which the Allies fight. Others, like Harris, believe it is a necessary evil. We must break their will, he insists. The devastation in Hamburg is undeniable, but its strategic effectiveness is questioned. Intelligence reports indicate that German war production suffers only a temporary setback. Factories are quickly relocated and output resumes. Yet, the psychological impact is profound. German morale is shaken, and fear spreads among the population. Goebbels' propaganda machine works tirelessly to maintain control, but cracks begin to show. For the RAF, the raids highlight the need for precision. Plans for future operations are refined, focusing on specific military targets. The lessons of Hamburg are clear. The path to victory is fraught with difficult choices. July 27, 1943. The raids continue. Hamburg is hit again and again over several nights. Each wave adds to the devastation. The city is transformed into a testing ground for the RAF's evolving tactics. Among the bomber crews, camaraderie grows. They share stories of narrow escapes and acts of bravery. In one instance, a Lancaster returns with severe damage, its pilot managing a miraculous landing. "We were lucky," he recounts, "but we knew we'd be back up there soon." The relentless nature of the campaign takes a toll. Fatigue sets in, and the psychological strain is immense. Crews face the grim reality that not everyone will return. Yet, they press on, driven by duty and the belief that their efforts shorten the war. In Hamburg, the resilience of the survivors is tested. Families are torn apart, and the city's infrastructure is pushed to breaking point. The firestorm is a harbinger of things to come. A new era of warfare has dawned. In the weeks following Operation Gomorrah, the world takes note. Newspaper headlines convey the horror and scale of the destruction. International reactions vary. Allies praise the effectiveness of the raids, while neutral nations express concern over the targeting of civilians. In the United States, public opinion is divided. Some see the raids as justified retribution, while others question the moral cost. For Nazi Germany, the raids are a wake-up call. Efforts to bolster air defenses are intensified, but resources are scarce. The Reich's ability to wage total war is compromised. Yet, the regime's propaganda machine spins the narrative of resilience and defiance. Within the RAF, the raids on Hamburg become a template for future operations. The lessons learned are incorporated into the planning of subsequent missions. Bomber Command's focus shifts to other strategic targets, but the memory of Hamburg lingers. It serves as a reminder of both the power and the peril of air warfare. As the summer of 1943 progresses, Operation Gomorrah becomes a pivotal moment in the air war. It marks a shift in strategy, one that embraces the full potential of aerial bombardment. For Harris, the operation is a vindication of his methods. He remains steadfast in his belief that strategic bombing can bring Nazi Germany to its knees. But within the ranks of Bomber Command, debates continue. Some advocate for precision strikes, targeting key military installations. Others argue for continued area bombing to erode enemy morale. The discussions are heated, reflecting the complexities of modern warfare. In Hamburg, the scars of the firestorm are visible for years to come. The city's reconstruction is a monumental task, but its spirit endures. Survivors rebuild their lives, determined to move forward. The raids leave a lasting legacy, one that raises questions about the ethics of warfare and the limits of human endurance. As the war rages on, these questions remain unanswered. The story of Operation Gomorrah is one of both triumph and tragedy. It showcases the devastating power of strategic bombing and the resilience of those who endure it. For the Allies, it is a demonstration of their growing air superiority. For Nazi Germany, it is a sobering reminder of their vulnerability. As the war enters its final phase, the lessons of Hamburg guide the actions of both sides. Yet, the moral questions raised by the operation linger. Can victory justify the means? Is the targeting of civilians ever acceptable in warfare? These are questions that haunt military planners and historians alike. As we look to the next chapter of the air war, the echoes of Hamburg will resonate. The skies over Europe are far from quiet, and as the Allies turn their attention to new targets, the world braces for what comes next. In the distance, the city of Dresden stands as the next potential victim of the Firestorm strategy.